and welcome to the NuSpecies Live Q&A. I'm Jillian.
And I'm Aston. Good morning, morning.
All right, I see Carol. Hi, Carol. Hey, Fitzgerald. Hey, Karen. Good to hear from all of you on here. And we've got some questions already coming in. Great. For those of you who are new to the Q&A or potentially to NuSpecies, NuSpecies is a natural health company. Our mission is to help our clients live better and longer. We invent and manufacture our own unique line of herbal medicine and plant-based supplements. And all of our formulas are designed to help your body be resilient against the toughest of health challenges. And for each of us, a good health choice is different. So that's why we host this Q&A every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. to make sure that you get the specific answers you need to your questions that will help you continue along your own unique health journey. So thank you for being with us today, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. We're so glad to have you. We'll keep an eye on the chat throughout. As you know, Aston and I always have random things we want to talk to you about, but that doesn't mean that you can't continue to post your questions into the chat throughout the show at any time. And me and Mary there in the background will keep an eye on the chat and make sure we get to all of your questions today. We usually stay on for about an hour. Aston is over in Bronxville today, which opens at 11. So we do cut off around 11. So if you can get your questions in by 10:30 or 10:40, the latest, that would be great. Otherwise, we will get to them in the next week. Which I know we didn't get to a question at the end of last week, and I'm not sure if that person is here with us today. So if you are, feel free to ask it again. I can also look it up, but if you're not here, then we'll prioritize the questions coming in live today. All right, great. So Aston, we've got some questions coming in. And I know we also have some things we want to talk about. So let me know which way you want to go.
I want to talk about cancer first. I want to talk to all of you, all of us. Cancer is on the rise, people. It's on the rise. We have a lot of young women in their 20s and 30s. It's everybody. Cancer is on the rise among all nations, all people, of all colors and creeds. And it is shocking. I think it could be related to all the complications we experienced during the pandemic. I'm sure it's one of the catalysts. There may be other catalysts, but the pandemic definitely is a big part of it, based on what I've seen in lab reports and images. As you know, I review thousands of images and lab reports every year, probably monthly. So I just want you all to know that if you have any kind of tumors or cysts or lumps anywhere, especially women, young women are the ones that it's devastating across the board for all age groups, but these young women who are coming in their 20s and 30s, and they have breast cancer, they have aggressive breast cancer. They have the dreadful breast cancer, triple negative, and they're shocked and they don't even know what they're dealing with. You know, women are not allowed to do mammograms until they turn 40. So a lot of these young women with breast lumps, they don't even know they have breast lumps until they are diagnosed with cancer. And it's aggressive, it's spreading. It was there for years before it was discovered. And a lot of them are dying, people, for reasons that are out of their control. And I just want to bring that awareness. If you have young women, especially young women in your family or in your circle, your church, your organizations, under 40, especially under 50, but under 40, since mammograms began at 40. I think every young woman should get a mammogram by the time they turn 30. I think the age group should shift radically from 40 to 30. And then those women who have lumps discovered in their teens or 20s, they should start doing their mammograms then. And I am actually not asking you, I'm telling you all that's what you should be telling your daughters and granddaughters and your neighbors' daughters and your parishioners, whatever. That's what you should do. The government will get to it, as the government always get to it years after we discover all these issues at NuSpecies. But the government takes a long time to act. They have to make laws. They have to have all these people in the House and the Senate to agree to change the law. They have to, if it's state level, it's the same. They have House and Senate just the same. They have to agree. And it could take years. And then a lot of innocent people will die by the time. So we should start spreading the word now. Any girls that have menstrual issues, they should call NuSpecies. Their doctors can't help them, unfortunately. So I'm saying something now that we probably won't even be able to handle, Jill, because a lot of those women who have these cancers, whether it's breast cancer, it's not just breast cancer, folks. I have girls, late 20, early 30s, who have ovarian cancer, cervical cancer. So it's not just breast cancer. It's ovarian cancer, uterine cancer, cervical cancer, breast cancer. Those are the primary ones. And then there are others who have thyroid cancer as well. But those are the ones that are the most. And not to mention colorectal cancer that you all probably know about. And all you have to do now is to just Google, go to the CDC and Google it. Go to the NIH, the National Institutes of Health, and Google it. And you'll see the articles, you'll see the scientific research, the scientific studies. You'll see they're all there. And it's not one or two. There are thousands. So that's why I said in prior weeks that we need to make all of us into apostles or missionaries or evangelists to spread the word around us to other people. Because doctors can't help. There's no medication. Just think of it this way. If you have irregular menstrual in your teens or 20s, right? You have regular menstrual, and then by the time you turn 25, 30, you have a fibroid, small, tiny. Your gynecologist, your doctor say, oh, it's tiny, right? They can't shrink it. There's nothing to shrink it at that tiny level. So when it gets, they keep checking you, monitoring. What are they monitoring for? They're monitoring to medicate you or to do surgery. So you turn 35, 40, and now you have all these fibroids and they're huge. There is no medical cure for fibroids. There's no medical cure for menstrual irregularities that lead to anemia or heavy menstrual or all those things that ladies get. For men, it's prostate. There's no medical cure for prostate issues that turn to prostate cancer. Same thing with women. There's no medical cure for these issues you get, ladies, menstrual issues, anemia, then fibroids, ovarian cysts, dense breast, nodules in the thyroid, pituitary gland issue, prolactin issue. There's no medical cure. No hormone therapy will fix that. There's no medical cure anywhere on planet Earth except if you get your body to fix the issues, and you can do that. That's what NuSpecies is all about. That's what we discovered years and years ago, 3 decades ago, and that's why we are here talking to you. That's how far back we go. That's all the knowledge we have. And it's the medical system is not improving when it comes to some of these issues, prostate issues, which are hormonal issues, and ladies who have these issues. So consider this a plea from us at NuSpecies to spread the word. It's a beseeching. Consider it, begging, whatever you want to call it. That's what it is. Because I am talking to a lot of these, we're talking to a lot of these young women, and they're frightened. They're so frightened. Just imagine 25, 30-year-old and have cancer. Some of them don't even know what cancer is. They don't even know what it means. They're confused as to what's going on. And their parents and grandparents are saying, do this, do that. And they're thinking, what? Why should I do that? Because they're confused. Because the parents don't know better themselves. The grandparents don't know better themselves. And the doctors can't help themselves. It's really bad, people. It's only going to get.
And what we can say is NuSpecies has the best chance at helping you or your loved ones the sooner you come. For a lot of people, and we get it, you still should work with a doctor and have medical support, because anything can happen and you may need medication or surgery or some kind of emergency care, and you do want to have medical providers who are familiar with your health, with you as a person and your preferences. You really do want to build those relationships to set yourself up in case you ever have an emergency situation, of course. But what a lot of people then do is they just wait and wait, because they're waiting for their doctor to say that there's something that they should do, or that things are bad enough that they should do something. But the fact that you have a condition that's already being monitored is actually the alarm bell. It might not be the alarm bells to the medical system, because like Aston said, the medical system isn't going to be able to treat something until it becomes to a certain level where they can legally treat it, or they actually have a treatment for it. So the alarm bell for you is once you have the symptom, the discomfort, you're not feeling the same. Your labs aren't looking as good. Your labs can be unhealthy without your doctor thinking there's nothing your doctor can do about it, right? So they're going to tell you, well, your labs are fine. They're within normal range, but they're not in an optimal range for health. They're heading toward unhealthiness or developing a problem. Those are your alarm bells for you to take care of yourself. And that's where NuSpecies is best to start to intervene with you. Now, it's really easy when the symptoms are in those initial stages and you don't feel great, but you don't feel bad enough to interrupt your life. You're too busy. Your kids are going back to school, or it's the holiday season, or there's always a reason why now is not a good time. But let me tell you, when you're in the early stages of health condition, I promise you, that is when intervening, doing something about it, is going to be the least disruptive to your lifestyle. Waiting for it to get worse is only going to become, and I promise you, the longer time goes, and even the older our kids get, things get more complicated and harder. There's never going to be a more convenient time than right now to intervene when things are still early. Because once they're more severe, there's more doctors involved, more treatments involved, more complications to deal with, more sickness for you to not have the energy to deal with it all. So there is no better time than right now, no matter where you are in the stage, to come to NuSpecies and let us see what we can do for you, and also teach you what you can do for yourself. Because really, I would say 80% of that journey is happening with stuff that you're going to do on your own. And then you just sort of lean on the medical industry as that crutch, or for an emergency to help, like Aston said, provide mercy so that you're not in so much pain or you're not suffering as much, or to provide a surgery or some sort of emergency situation if you need it. But the goal is, if you're doing 80% of the work that you need to be doing, you will hopefully never get to that point, or you will lean on it as little as possible so you still feel in control over your own life.
Before we get to questions, let me just say this. This is what a disease is. What is cancer or blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, autoimmune disease, whatever they are? This is what a disease actually is. This is where it works. This is exactly what happens. It starts with the early detection. But let's use cancer as an example. There's a nodule that has cancer cells, or a lump, or cyst, or a mass that's cancer cells. Is localized. The CT, the PET scan, the MRI, whatever other images are down, ultrasound, it shows that it's localized in that one spot, right, folks? It's in that one little area. It could be a millimeter. It could be 1 millimeter, 2 millimeters. It could be 1 millimeter, tiny, tiny. And it's there because the genes are broken, mutated for that organ. The genes are damaged. That's why it's there. And it's there because the immune system couldn't fix it when it was that 1-2 millimeter wide. The immune system couldn't fix it. The body overall, the healing systems in the body couldn't fix it. Okay. Now it sits there, and those cancer cells in that 1-2 milliliter millimeter, it grows. It grows bigger. And think of it as a tree. Think of it as a plant that becomes a tree. You have a plant that you put in your garden and you bought it young. You put it when it was a couple of inches off the ground. And then within a week, months, it just grow into this giant plant. That is what diseases are. Those roots are going to spread out into the body. The cancer cells are going to spread out into the body. Excuse me. So by the time you get to treatment, quite often, whether it's surgery, radiation, or chemo, the cancer has already spread to different parts of the body and it's not even detectable. The CT won't pick it up because there aren't enough cancer cells to pick up those microscopic, cells. There aren't enough cancer cells for the CT, the PET scan to pick up, right? So a lot of people who do surgery, the doctors are actually cutting into cancer. A lot of people who do radiation, the cancer had already moved from that site. A lot of people who are doing chemo, the cancer has already moved from that site and it's moving out into the body. So you do surgery and they cut it out. Or you do radiation and they burn it out, that 2 millimeter. You do chemotherapy and the doctor say, oh, you are in remission. I'm telling you what I see, people, over the last 20 years, more than 20 years. This is what I see. And then you go home and you're happy. I don't have cancer anymore. It's in remission, or it's cured, or it's gone. And then a year later, 6 months later, 2 years later, you're feeling sick again. And you go back and the doctor say, oh, whatever I have in the breast or the prostate is now, it seems to be in the lung or the liver or the spine. That's where these cancers usually go first. It never left. It was never in remission. It was never cured. And then we, the novice, we say, oh, it comes back with a vengeance. No, it never left. It just wasn't detectable in those areas when the PET scan and the CTs were done. And these are the people who are dying of cancer, and this is most of the people who are getting cancer are dying this way. Most of them. Most of them die within 5 years. Within 10 years, it's like 70 or 80% or higher. Who's checking? And then, this is the worst part of it. A lot of the people who are dying of cancer, they're not dying of cancer, they're dying of heart attack caused by the cancer, but it doesn't log as cancer death. It's logged as a heart attack or a stroke or a septic liver or whatever, whatever eventually killed that person. That's the way it works. So in the end, not many people survive. And that's why you have to take, as Jillian just said, you have to start fighting, and day one it's discovered. You can't rely on the doctors or the medical system because they're in the same position when they get cancer and they come to us. They're just like everybody else. There's no magic cure, people, magic surgery. And they don't live longer than, the doctors don't live longer than any other person out there. And that should be the education you take away from why we're asking you to become an apostle, to spread the word. And those of you who believe in God, you're doing it for God's people. You're bringing the awareness for God's people, especially to the young men and young women who will die and are dying, and they don't know why they're dying. They don't understand why they're dying. I talk with them, people, every day. So what I'm saying to you are facts, absolute facts. They have no idea what's happening to them. They're confused. All right. We're going to keep harping on this over the course of the year. And I know that some of us have to hear something like me. I have to hear something 1,000 times before it sticks in my brain. And sometimes I have to get a hammer and a chisel, and I have to chisel into my brain. So some of you may be like that. So we're going to keep repeating this over the course of the year until it sinks in and you get to the point where you have no choice but to.
Well, I have some news for you, Aston. I don't think we're ever going to stop repeating this. Aston and I had this long journey of, when we started this like 16 years ago, we started to feel like we needed to come up with new things and say more interesting things and more creative things. And what else can we say? When really over time, what we realized is every day there's new listeners. Every day there's new people in our stores. Every day our same clients that have been with us for years now have a new issue. And we can't actually repeat ourselves enough that continuing to say the most foundationally important things are actually the best thing that we can do for everyone is to just say it over and over again. Because even those of you here who, you've been taking NuSpecies, you agree with our philosophy, you're living your life the way that NuSpecies would ask you to. But I still think it can sometimes we repeat something and it hits you differently, and maybe it helps you make a different choice or an even better choice than you were before. So Aston, I think we will keep repeating these things forever. And with the way cancer is going, unfortunately, I think we're never going to get to stop saying this. But we will keep warning all of you. We'll keep telling you what we experience, what we see on our end, because a lot of times what comes into our stores and who calls us on the phone are the immediate fallout from what's not working with the medical industry. So long before the medical industry decides, okay, maybe this treatment isn't working, or maybe we need to switch gears or something, NuSpecies is seeing what is and isn't working. So we can give you whatever we know, and hope it helps you take care of yourself to the best of your ability. All right. Let's get to the questions. So let's go back up to Carol is thanking for the book and the recipe. You're welcome. I shared with Carol this ancient grains porridge that is so full of fiber and so amazing for your gut health and your overall health. And she said she enjoyed it. I did send the pictures of the book that I'm using and this particular recipe to our client services team. So if any of you are interested in this ancient grains porridge or the book that I'm using to improve gut health, then to eat more plant-based foods, you can just email our team and they'll send you the pictures. So you're welcome, Carol. Hope you liked it. All right, Fitzgerald, please explain a bit about colitis and which NuSpecies products can help with it.
So colitis is, so it's funny how the doctors, or the medical system or the pharmaceutical companies, they have all these names, right, that they give these diseases, right? Colitis, or Crohn's, or any of those gut or issues with the intestinal tract. These are inflammatory. They're all inflammatory conditions. The easy way to explain all diseases by explaining colitis is to think of the DNA and the genes that function for the digestive tract. So colitis usually is in the small to the large intestine, but it affects the whole body. It's an inflammatory condition where the colon or the intestines are inflamed, and it impedes digestion and just create havoc for the immune system. So it's an inflammatory condition where the genes are breaking down for that part of the body, that part of the organ. And the genes have to be rebuilt. The immune system couldn't fix it, just like cancer. The immune system couldn't fix the issue. And so the immune system has to be rebuilt. And then, because it's a chronic inflammatory condition, you need the anti-inflammatory rehab to help the body to remove the inflammation so the immune system cells can flow in the blood vessels that are blocked or partially blocked to help to fix the issue. So what you need the NuGenesis, you need the anti-inflammatory, you need any of the L-Nu at minimum. You could start with that, and when you take the L-Nu, take an ounce daily. And the same would go for Crohn's or any of those other digestive issues except cancer. So the NuGenesis to help to rebuild the genes and DNA. By the time we're done in another few months, you all should be able to just go to our stores and go to our website and just purchase what you need, because you're going to keep hearing the same thing now. You need new genesis to rebuild your genes and DNA. You need the anti-inflammatory to help to remove the inflammation. You need the immune one to help that helps to rebuild the body. And then if it's chronic colitis, you may need to add in the gut formula, probably the gut formula 1 or the gut formula 2. Any one of those would work perfectly. So at minimum, the new genesis, the anti-inflammatory, and any of the LNU, the LNU1 or the LNU9 or the LNU25. And then if it's in the budget, or if the condition is bad, add in any of the gut formulas.
Great. Thank you, Fitzgerald, for that question. All right. Karen Christopher. Hi, Karen. So that we got Karen in Everton. I don't know if she's spelled that wrong. On the show. Thank you for being in. She said that they live in South Carolina now. So that's why you haven't been popping
Karen.
in.
Hi, Everton. How are you both doing? Long time to talk.
Yeah. So Karen wants to know, and I feel like Karen, you should probably like know everything because Karen was one of our biggest evangelists, at least at one point. I assume still are. Karen wants to know, what do we recommend for lowering blood pressure?
So we have the basic high blood pressure protocol that we can post, and we can send the link to Karen. So Karen, how are you? Hope all is well. Hope our little lady there, Amanda, hope she's doing well. And Everton, I hope you're doing well yourself. You guys are family, as you know.
She said we're good.
Great, awesome. Well, you're in warmer climates, so you better be.
Although in South Carolina, I don't know. Hopefully, the hurricane and those terrible weather didn't impact you. So yeah, we hope your home and everything is okay out there.
Yeah.
All right.
Probably got a snow last week. I heard that Georgia was swamped with snow.
Wow.
But yes, the high blood pressure starter is a good place to go, Karen.
Okay, great. Mary will post that in there, Karen. So just keep an eye on the chat, okay? All right. So, and then we've got just hi Headley, hi Annette, hey Gwen and May. Hello, Trevor, Grace, Maxine, Avadni, Darnett, Diana, Andrea. Thank you all so much for being here, Verona. Oh, thank you, everybody. Okay, wonderful. Let me get back to, so I just was making notes. All right, so Gwen, let me find Gwen's chat. All right, Gwen says, is it best to take the formulas on an empty stomach or any time during the day? That sounds like an and question as far as how to take and when to take. And I think that those answers can change depending on why you're using the formulas, which formulas you're using, what kind of results you're looking for. But Aston, you could give maybe a few scenarios.
I like to I like if people take the formulas in the mornings, right after they wake up. That's when the stomach is most likely to be as empty as possible. And the reason for that is if the stomach is empty, you're going to have better absorption. What you take from NuSpecies will absorb very easily within 5 to 10 minutes, probably into your body, into the walls of the stomach. And the digestion takes place in the small intestine right below the stomach. So that whole, those two organs are empty, the stomach and the small intestine, most likely be empty in the morning. The best way to take NuSpecies is to take it on an empty stomach. If you have foods or water or liquids, even green juice, those will minimize the potency of the formulas. And we make the formulas potent because that's the way we have discovered that's the way the body likes food. Our bodies like when foods are potent. They have all the enzymes, the amino acids, which are the proteins. They have all the phytonutrients, they have have everything in there that the body needs to support itself. So the stomach just starts to absorb, in the small intestine. So when it's empty, you get the full potency. Once you eat later in the day, unless you want to wait for like 3 or 4 hours, we usually say an hour or two because that's what's realistic for you. It's harder to have a completely empty stomach later in the day. But if that's what you have to do, that's what you have to do. You can always take the formulas during the daytime, during the evening, if that's what the best time for you. It will still work, but you will lose a little potency. It still will work for your whatever issues you have, but you're just going to lose a little of the potency. So if you want to take it when your stomach is empty, completely empty in the mornings. That's when you're going to get the full power of taking NuSpecies. And yes, you may feel a little nausea from taking it because the formulas are so potent. Once it hit the stomach, your liver and your pancreas won't produce the enzymes fast enough to digest it. So you may feel a little nausea for 10 or 15 minutes, no more than that, and then you should be fine. If you can stomach that, that's fine. If you can't stomach the nausea, then you could drink maybe an ounce or two of juice, real juice, not the garbage that's selling bottles and cans, real
Well,
juice
ideally
or
like a
fruit.
smoothie, maybe. Yeah, like a
Or
smoothie.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. Or fruit, either fruit, banana, or apple, or something like that, just to give your stomach a little base.
Hmm.
That will still diminish the potency, but not as much because it's natural foods. So you could do that if you have any kind of nausea after you take the formulas on an empty stomach.
Right. And there is no reduction in potency like not taking the products. So if how you feel after taking them is a deterrent for you taking them, then it is much better that you do an altered version of taking them than not taking them at all. So
Right,
yeah,
right.
so that's when yeah, and you'd probably get used to it over time. But everyone's different. So just keep in touch with us. Don't just stop taking the products. Call us and we can talk about what kind of adjustments might be good for you.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I know my mom is currently taking the God Formula 3, 3,
Hmm.
and it's very spicy. So she's actually like pours her dose and then does like 3 separate little sipping sessions.
Okay. Yeah.
To me,
That's good.
that just drags out the
Hmm.
torture. I'd rather just get it all down at once. But again,
Yeah.
everybody is different. I remember when Kayla, when she did her little video for us about how she takes our detox. Most people I know like to mix our detox powder in just a little bit of water and shoot it back and then drink the rest of the water after you've gotten it past your taste buds. But she finds that the taste is so much more potent then she'd rather drink it longer but dilute it with more water so the taste is less potent. So everybody's different and there's like one ideal way, but then the best way to take our products is to just always be taking them. And so if you have to make adjustments to take them regularly, then that's going to be your best bet. Thank you for that question, Gwen. All right, so next we've got Grace. All right, Grace, where are you? Grace was asking about, okay, she was saying, do you have any recommendations for helping to keep calm a 90-year-old with dementia?
So we do have we call it the stress pack. We could call it the calm pack. It works magical for most people who take it, maybe perhaps all people. So I would say that's what you would need. The stress pack is 4 little bottles, 4 1-ounce bottles, and you can give it to you can take it before 90-year-old, hopefully not driving. You shouldn't take this and drive. So hopefully 90-year-old is not driving, but if driving, then
Well,
take
not
it at
with
night
dementia,
before
no.
bed. Oh, okay. But that
Yeah,
goes across the board. You should be
yeah.
taking and you shouldn't drive and take these formulas. They will make you so calm and so relaxed, you could fall asleep.
At
So
least taking all 4 together, right? Individually, you could probably take each one and be okay. But if you're taking all 4
right,
together,
right, right.
right. So these are the
But
chamomile.
I would still advise that they don't take any of these and drive. Get around the wheel. It's
Right,
not alcohol, folks. It's completely natural, but it could
right,
calm you down to the point where you could doze off.
right. So with the combination is chamomile, valerian, St. John's, and lobelia, right?
Yep. Hmm.
And it's like a full tube of each one. So depending on I don't know how Grace, how cooperative this person is. If you could, it's a tube, so you could, maybe just like drop it diagonally into like the cheek, because then it will swallow more easily than if you put it directly onto their tongue. They could just sort of spit it out. So I mean, worst case scenario, they may have to mix it into like applesauce or something, Aston, if they can't get them to take it straight.
Right, or a juice. I'm sure they're eating in some form or drinking in some
Yeah,
form. You could also mix it with whatever they drink.
like water.
But
Yeah, like if they
but
drink
we
water.
have a lot of 90-year-old clients who are stronger than, all of us, you know.
Right. But this
So
person has
this 90
dementia,
year
so they could
can be
be uncooperative.
right.
Yeah. Let us know, Grace, if there's
But
other factors we should be aware of.
experiment in different ways you can get them to take it.
Grace says, Aston, really? 90 and driving? She goes, laugh out loud. No way. It's my mom.
Okay, all right. See, I'm hoping for the best.
Yeah. He has to cover all the bases, right? Just to be safe. Okay, great. Andrea had asked about going to the app and ordering. So I'd see that Mary did respond, Andrea, but just for those of you who don't know, on our app, we've put our product catalog on there, but honestly, it's a manual process. We have to add every single product manually. It doesn't just like sync to our website and pull everything over. So a lot of the products and packages there might be outdated. At one point, we did try to put a link to the product page on the website from every product on the app. Some products may not have the link. Some might now have an outdated link. So although theoretically you could go to the app, look at our product catalog and like link to the page on the site, it's really not the best shopping experience because again, it might be outdated, but also because if you want to purchase multiple products, you'd have to keep going back to the app, finding the product, clicking the link. And so that doesn't make any sense. Our site is responsive for mobile shopping. It's not the best, and we are changing our site this year. That is one of our main goals. But in the meantime, shopping directly on our website would be the best shopping experience on your phone. Okay. And then Andrea was asking about her labs, and Mary's coordinating with her Aston to get her into conversation with you. May says she will sure spread the message. Thank you, thank you. And Diane said I told a teacher where I work about NuSpecies and told them where to watch it. Wonderful. I hope they're here with us today. Thank you so much. That's all that you can do. And we're going to be one of our other major goals is while we're working on the new site and writing all the new copy for our product descriptions and stuff, we're going to be having a lot more literature as well. And we'll be putting them in your boxes when you order online. We'll stick them in your bags when you buy in store. So you should be able to get all the literature you need to keep spreading the word for us. Karen did confirm that they are good with the weather, didn't impact them. And Glenn says hi from Toronto, Canada. So hi, Glenn.
Hello, Toronto. Hello, freezing Toronto.
All right. All right, guys, Andrea. All right, so May is asking, how soon should you take care of inflammation? When would it be too late or hard to get rid of?
That is a really wonderful question, and it goes back to our initial discussion of cancer. So just so you all know, the root, not cause, the root of cancer is inflammation. That's what inflammation cause. All the diseases that are 18,000 or so categorized by the United States, officially over 18,000. All of those are at base in inflammation. So once you have inflammation, the body can lunge into any disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, any issue, because inflammation there are many levels of inflammation. I'm not going to go into that. I don't think we have time, but maybe we could dedicate one of our episodes to just talking about inflammation, and that could bring it home for a lot of you as to why when you have a cough or you have any slight issues, you should try to fix it, because the tendency is for it to get worse. So once you discover that you have any form of infection, inflammation, mucus, you look at your labs and you see issues in your labs. If you have any abnormalities in your lab, whether low or high, it means you have inflammation. If you look at your imaging with an X-ray or MRIs, any of those imaging, and you see an issue in there, you see the word degenerate or degenerative, you see mild whatever, it means that you already have some disease forming at a high level in the body. So that's even above, it's inflammational, but it's above inflammation. It means that you have a disease growing in the body, as long as you have abnormalities in your labs and in your imaging. So when we see these issues early, we should get rid of them, because as I like to tell clients, some of my clients that I do consultation with, is that we all know what's going to kill us. I know it sounds horrific, but it's true. We all have an idea what's going to kill us. It's what is the issue we have, and it's not going away. And that issue could be causing another issue. Diabetes can cause high blood pressure. High blood pressure can cause diabetes. Diabetes can cause cancer. High blood pressure can cause cancer. High cholesterol can cause cancer. Any issue we have can turn cancer into it can cause cancer in an organ. It's not going to be the cause of cancer, but it's the cause that make cancer to develop, or make other health issues to develop. So that's the way our bodies are. It's actually very delicate. Yes, we could have stage 4 cancer. We could be eating and driving around. We could get up and walk around. Like I've heard about some clients, who had stage 4 cancer and died. They were walking around. The morning they were walking around. They were even eating and drinking, and then they just died. That's the way our bodies are. The organ or the organ system just collapsed. So inflammation is the foundation in which every disease in humans grow, develop, proliferate, and if we don't fix it, it causes premature death. So every disease, every health condition has inflammation at its core. Without that inflammation, that disease doesn't grow, or it doesn't exist. I hope that helps.
Great. Okay. So next we've got, Andrea, I did have a follow-up question for you. I can't tell if your two comments are correlated, if they're the same question, or if you meant to ask two separate questions. So if you can reply back, that would be great. And then Thaddeus, I see your question about prostate issues in men. There are many kinds of prostate issues in men that have different symptoms. So if you can be a little bit more specific, Aston could provide a more relevant answer. All right, so we'll start with Andrea just asking about, can we make the products less sweet? So Andrea, we'll just back up a little bit. Just
you take that one.
Yeah. When it comes to making our formulas, the way Aston designed them was to create the most effective products that are, safe and powerful. And once he put those boundaries on what he was willing to create and dedicate his life to trying to sell to people, it left us with very few choices. Because when you want to make a cold processed product that's plant-based, vegetable glycerin is really the only, especially that's liquid, right? So we didn't want to make capsules or tablets that are harder to digest. We didn't want only powder products, because powder is not always the most appropriate delivery system. So in the most cases, our formulas are liquid, they're cold processed, and they're plant-based. And so when you put all that together, you end up with vegetable glycerin as being the most natural and healthful way to keep the herbs potent and alive for a long period of time. Vegetable glycerin is sweet. It is not sugar. It will not affect your blood sugar. You can look it up online. You can see the chemistry of it. You can see that it's often recommended to diabetics as an alternative sweetener. It is quite expensive, and so probably why a lot of people don't end up using it. But that is what makes our product sweet. Now, a lot of our products still just taste bad because the herbs themselves are bitter or have all their own flavors, and that mixes with the sweetness, and sometimes that complements and sometimes it just doesn't. And so the products just are what they are. Rather than starting the design of our products from the focus of like what tastes good, because then you end up with capsules, tablets, or gummy vitamins, which, save those for dessert. But we started our design process, or Aston started the design process from what's going to work, what's going to be the most powerful for people. And so then we ended up with what was left over to make that happen. And that's where you get the vegetable glycerin, and that's where you get the sweetness. So no, we can't make the products less sweet. You have the power to make it less sweet by, you can mix in some of our more bitter products with whatever you're taking. So some people will mix in the mineral complex because that is bitter. Others will mix the detox powder. So like they'll mix the detox powder in the water and then add their liquid products to it so that it offsets the sweetness. So there are ways to mitigate the sweetness. And if it really stops you from taking the products regularly, I often, even just adding the tiniest little bit of water. So like I'll run the faucet on a trickle and I'll fill my formulas into the cup. And then I'll just sort of add a tiny bit of water, and it really cuts down the sweetness pretty well. Even with that tiny bit of water. So there are ways to get past it. Do apologize that that you don't like it. There are plenty of people who do like the fact that our products are sweet. There are plenty of people who don't like it. And if we made our products less sweet, there would be just as many people who don't like that and people who do like it. So in the end, we just have to stick with our criteria, which is make products that work. And whatever the result is what it is. Andrea might be correlating, though, the sweetness to itchiness and her foot bottom. She said she believes when she's taking the anti-inflammatory, well, she says when I take the inflammation product. So I assume, Andrea, you're talking about the anti-inflammatory formula. She says when I take it, my feet bottom are itching. I don't know if Andrea, you're thinking the sweetness. Do you have diabetes? Or are you worried about maybe it's like causing like a neurological response or something? Aston, are you getting the correlation why she might be thinking that?
No, but I could say generally for all of you, as I'm always speaking to all of you, when you take NuSpecies, you can expect things to happen. Some people may get some rash because the body is detoxing. Some people get some itching. Some people get something because in the end, all our formulas do some level of detoxing, removal of inflammation, removal of free radicals. Yes, our liver and our kidneys are charged, by God with that responsibility, but a lot of times our body retain inflammation, free radicals, retain waste matter from the kidney or the liver because the liver and the kidney are not strong enough. And that's why we have all these issues in our bodies. We get lumps and bumps and rash and all these issues sometimes. So by taking NuSpecies, you should all at some point, maybe not all of you, some of you won't, most of you probably won't, but a few will see some rash or something on the skin that will last for maybe a week or two, and then it clears up nicely. Is the body detoxing through the skin? The skin is our largest organ, and we do a lot of we do get our skin to expunge a lot of waste from our bodies, just as maybe not on the scale of our liver and our kidneys, but we do get a lot of waste matter to get expunged through our skin. So that could be part of it. So if the anti-inflammatory, the L-Nu or the NuGenesis or any of these formulas are causing that sensation, it's a good thing, especially if you have issues with your skin or blood vessels that could be getting repaired. And by the way, for some people, the healing process can be violent. Sometimes it's not silent, sometimes it's violent. You could just feel things happening. And ladies and guys would tell me about their breast, ladies and men with their prostate, that when something is happening, they can feel the sensation in their breast glands, for the women, and for the men, their prostate. So when some organs are getting healed by the body, you could feel sensations. This is how when some organs are getting sick, you can also feel sensation. It goes both ways. Healing can be violent.
Yeah. Andrea did confirm that she has diabetes. So she was thinking the sweetness could be affecting her blood sugar, which could be causing like a neurological tingling or something in her feet. And I told her definitely not. If there's feet bottom itching, it's being caused by something else or because she's detoxing. And that is a place your body releases toxins through your feet. So you could feel some irritation there, just like Aston said. All right. Thaddeus, I haven't seen a follow-up from you yet, dear. Thaddeus just generally asked what you can take to help with prostate health issues in men. If we don't have anything more specific to go on there. Oh, in regards to a high, okay, thank you. In regards to a high PSA, that's all the info I have so far. So elevated PSA.
So high PSA is, as you all know, once the PSA is over 4, the doctors start to look to do biopsies and MRIs and other medical exams, because once it's over 4, there could be a suspicion that there could be cancer cells in the prostate. I suppose all the men need to know that. And for Black men, once the PSA is over one, it can also have cancer cells. And, studies are now coming out. I've been saying this for like 20 years, and now studies are coming out to show that. So if your PSA is elevated over 1 or over 4, you need to be on our, at minimum, maybe you could put up the prostate package, just a general prostate package, which would be the NuGenesis, the anti-inflammatory, the MSM, and an LNU. You could take those 4, and if the PSA is like 5, 6 or higher, you should add in the God formula 3. So anyone whose PSA is that high, they should be on something really potent, like those 5 formulas. And as a matter of fact, those are the 5 formulas now, gentlemen, that are helping across the board all the men who are taking it for their prostate or prostate issues or higher elevated PSA. I'm going to repeat it again. It's the NuGenesis, the anti-inflammatory, any LNU, the MSM, and the God Formula 3. All the men across the world who are taking those and have been taking those since at least summer, they're seeing exceptional results, some of them within 30 days, some 60 days, but just extraordinary results they're seeing on a very, very quick basis, which is, in all my history of working with men with prostate issues and researching what's out there in the world with prostate issues, it's the best I've seen. So I'm going to say that all men should be on that. All men, especially Black men, should be on those 4 or 5 formulas. Whether it's urine frequency, urine urgency, enlarged prostate or BPH, prostatitis, prostate cancer, past prostate cancer. Prostate cancer is in the family history, whether your father, your grandfather, uncle, brother, all men should be taking those 5 formulas for their prostate. The number 1 killer of men is prostate. And all men, Black men, white men, no different. We just kill Black men sooner. And by 2030, based on studies that they have done, up to 70% of all men over 30 in the world will have some form of prostate issues, including prostate cancer. And that goes back to the beginning of what I said, or what we said about cancer on the rise. It's begun already. It's happening a lot sooner than scientists thought it would happen with the rise of cancer across the board among all races. All races. Usually the Asians didn't get it as much, and they still don't get as much as we get it in the United States or this side of the Northern Hemisphere. But even in those countries that had the lowest rates of cancer, the cancer is rising. It's rising worldwide and at a younger age, which means that older people are getting it more now than ever. Younger people are getting it more than ever. So it's across the board, all age groups, between 20 and up.
All right. So we put Thaddeus, we put the links in the chat. Usually the chat does stay up after the replay stays on YouTube. But if the chat ever goes away, you can always just scroll back to the part of the video where we talked about the products and go find them on the website, or just email support@nuspecies.com and we can send you all the links. All right, Marcia, missed her question before. She said, Doc, what if you have acid reflux and it irritates your stomach? I'm thinking the it is NuSpecies because she was replying after we were talking about how to take the products. So for right now, Marcia, I'm going to assume that you mean due to having acid reflux, taking NuSpecies formulas can irritate your stomach. If I'm wrong about that, please, I'll keep an eye out for clarification. But in the meantime, Aston, you can answer that question.
Right. So a lot of our formulas will, if you have acid reflux,
Oh, sorry, Aston.
anyone who,
Last week, Instagram did cut off after an hour. I don't know how it decides when it cuts off after an hour, but if you're watching on Instagram, please head over to YouTube so that you can stay with us after the hour is up, which is in another 20 seconds. Okay, go on, Aston. Sorry.
right. So this goes for everyone. If you have GERD, gastritis, or if you have acid reflux, any of those issues, it means that you have inflammation in the stomach. You may even have chronic inflammation in the small intestine, and you may have also be suffering from conditions in the esophagus as well. So the esophagus, the stomach, the small intestine, you will have soreness because the acid reflux, these acids, especially hydrochloric acid, it's a powerful acid, and it just burned this, the tissue, the epithelial tissue from the walls of the esophagus, the stomach, or the small intestine. So it just leaves it raw. So yes, if you take anything that that might have some, we have cayenne pepper in some of our formulas, and we have other ingredients too that could irritate, the rawness in the esophagus, the stomach, or the small intestine. So yes, you could have irritation from taking some of our formulas. So what you do, you have to fix the acid reflux first, and the way you do it is to get our bee pollen. You can get 4 to 6 of our bee pollen and take a teaspoon morning and night, and keep taking those until the acid reflux goes away completely. It will help to fix the acid reflux. So you take the bee pollen, you can get 4 to 6 or 10, you can get any number of bee pollen, but you need to take a teaspoon morning and evening or night. I said 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 10 bottles only because it's a 1 ounce bottle. So if you're taking a teaspoon morning and night, it won't last you it will last you maybe a week or less than a week. It's going to last you about a week, right? Yeah, about a week it's going to last you. So, and you need to be on it for a number of weeks or even a couple of months to get the results you're looking for. And then once the acid reflux or the burning recedes, then you can take the full dosages of NuSpecies.
Okay. And then also, Marcia, you need to heal your gut. So you have to improve your digestion, your body's ability to process the foods you're eating, which means you probably need to cut out all processed foods immediately. You probably need to cut out meat and dairy. And you need to slowly increase your amounts of vegetables, whole grains, and nuts, seeds, foods and fruit. And you may not, if you already have acid reflux and potentially bloating, you may not be able to just start eating a ton of vegetables immediately, because until you build up the right bacteria to break down the vegetables, to digest them for you, you could make the issue more uncomfortable. So you might just need to ease your way. Definitely eliminate processed food immediately and start increasing your amounts of plants that you're eating until your gut is able to repair and heal itself. And if you want that recipe book that I've been working with, you can just email support@nuspecies.com and they can send you the pictures of the book.
Mary, Jacqueline Calder is trying to send us a message, but she can't get through on the chat on the live stream. I don't know. We're almost out of time anyway. Yeah, Jackie, if you're there, listen.
Right. If you're on YouTube on your phone, I know at one point I found it a little tricky to find where the chat was, and I wish I could remember off the top of my head how to make the chat open. But Mary, if you know, you can tell me and I'll say it. Okay. All right, so we've got a little bit of time left. Henrik was just asking about dosing again. Henrik will give a short answer quickly, but then you might want to watch the replay, the part where we talked about dosing already, which was around 32 minutes. So if you just scroll to 32 minutes in the show, you'll get the full answer. But Henrik was asking, are all the liquid products best taken in the AM? What about just before bed? He's currently taking NuGenesis first thing in the morning, but he uses the God formula before bed. So Henrik, if you're on those particular formulas, I'm hoping you would have received a like formula instructions document from us, because anyone taking the rebuilding formulas is usually gets custom dosing separate from what the labels say. So just for all of your information, if you are buying our products, you're just supplementing, you're taking our detox and our vitamins, you can just go by the dose on the label. And you can't overdose on our products. If you're fixing a deficiency, you can always take more. But if you're on our rebuilding formulas and you're working with Aston, you should have custom recommendations and you should have a formula instructions document. So Henrik, I'm thinking Mary should follow up with you after the show and just double check. But currently it sounds like, Aston, does that sound like what you would have said, NuGenesis in the morning and God formula before bed?
No.
Okay, so we have to follow up then.
Yeah, Henrik, my brother, I want you to take all those formulas at the same time in the morning, if you can. If not, then we can work out how to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, great. Thank you. And then before you all get off today, we have a little special announcement that we want to give you a heads up about. So stay with us until the end. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. We are almost at a whopping 1,100 subscribers. So we are looking to get up and above that and increase our watch hours of our content so that we can implement some of the cool features that YouTube only gives you if people think you're cool. So we need more of you to subscribe, share the word about our YouTube channel and our Q&A, and to watch our content so we can get those watch hours up. All right, Henrik also follows up and asks, is too much garlic, turmeric, and ginger harmful to the body? Specifically, I chew organic ginger every night before bed. Could that be in any way harmful?
So too much of anything can hurt the body, hurt the liver in particular. It can overload it. So the good news is that if you're doing raw foods, whether it's raw ginger, garlic, whatever, if you're doing it raw, completely raw, it's not known to cause any harm in anyone. Is when people boil it and then, they boil it they don't know the milligram or microgram. And so they kill the enzymes, they kill the amino acids or the proteins, they kill all the phytonutrients. And now the liver is stuck, unable to remove the excess of any food. And that's this question alerts all of us or all of you as to why taking processed foods are so dangerous. It will damage the body, damage the liver, damage, a lot of organs. So, but when you're doing raw foods that have all those phytonutrients, nutrients, the vitamins, the minerals, the amino acids or the proteins, the enzymes, you have all of that, it is highly unlikely that it will hurt your body, because your body will be empowered because it has all the amino acids and the enzymes. Your body will be empowered to excrete the excess. And that's why we say to you, Henrik, you only do a teaspoon of the God formula, because if you do a tablespoon, based on our assessment, your body only going to use a teaspoon. So if you use a tablespoon, your body going to excrete all that excess, and you're just going to waste your money. And that's why for some formulas, we have those specific dosages, because if you take more than we recommend, your body just going to excrete it, the excess, because it has the enzymes, the amino acids, it has all the phytonutrients. It's raw. So you look at the labels, you see the formulas are raw. So we take into consideration all these scientific and biological factors of how the body works. So you just open the door, Henrik, for us to explain why you should be eating foods. All of us should be eating foods that have the enzymes and the amino acids, which are the proteins that assist the liver and the pancreas for easy digestion. And all the excesses get pushed out. It doesn't get stuck to the walls of the small intestine, the colon, the rectum, causing digestive issues and cancers in the digestive tract. Once you're eating these type of foods, the body will excrete all the excesses if they're completely natural.
Yeah, and also, you know, when you're eating the whole food raw, your body also has a natural response to say, okay, that's enough. Like if you notice, if you eat pineapple, after a while, your mouth is going to start getting sore and you're just going to naturally stop eating it. Henrik, I imagine you're not eating like an entire knob of ginger every single night because your body's going to be like, whoa, that's enough. You're going to feel naturally like that's enough, right? So if you're just
He
chewing
probably
organic
is.
ginger,
He
well,
probably
but
is.
even then, I mean, he's just sort of chewing on it. It's the whole food, right? It's not like some company extracted some sort of active chemical from ginger and then
Right,
compounded it
right,
into some high
right.
potency tablet, and then you're sort of taking tons of those. That's where it's like when science and supplement companies start to reverse engineer nature and like, you know, synthetically create some sort of super thing, then that's when it can become dangerous and can be confusing to your body. But when you're just eating the whole food, there usually are just like natural, you know, communication signals that are like, okay, that's enough, I'm full. Which is what doesn't happen when you eat processed food. There is no communication, and so you end up overeating because there's no nutrition and there's no phytochemicals and there isn't all the enzymes and everything telling your body that's enough. So we just keep eating, right? So it looks like, Henrik, you're not on the path to doing anything harmful. But you are working with us regularly. So certainly if you have any further detail there, you can always follow up with Aston at any time.
He's actually
Okay,
doing great. Keep it up, Henrik.
good. Yay.
Mhm.
We need some like confetti or something. We can, or like we get a horn, right? All right, we
You're
are gonna have to
funny.
wrap up. We'll have our quick announcement at the end, but just one last quick thing. Andrea's asking, my A1C is 5.8. Is that diabetes?
Yes, as long as it's past, it's over 5.6 and it's abnormal in your lab report, it's diabetes. The pharmaceutical companies are acutely, is that the right word? Cute, maybe. But they find a way to say that it's
Oh, clever.
pre-diabetic or borderline, but it's nonsense. Diabetes is diabetes. Blood pressure is blood pressure. If it's abnormal, it's abnormal.
Okay. So that's good to know, Andrea. Okay. And then you know where to find us if you want to follow up on that. All right. Our quick announcement for all of you is, and you're the first that are hearing this. So I know back in July of 2024, we had started plugging that prices were going to be going up. And we played around with a few ways to do it. I think we played around with like 10 separate ways to do it. We did finalize that there is a subset of our product line where prices need to go up. If you're on any of the rebuilding formulas that we talked about
And
today,
if we don't raise them, we're just going to take them off the shelf permanently. That's what we have to do because we're in the red for years. From we started out, they've never gone up through 2 or 3 recessions and pandemic and all that stuff. So either we take them off the shelf completely and never make them again, or we raise the price a little bit so that we can
yeah.
continue making them.
Some of them, it's not a little bit, it's a little bit more than that. And we understand that that is annoying and it's just frustrating for us too. But this is the first time we're raising our prices in 16 years. And most companies more responsibly raise their prices every other year or so. So not to mention that we took you through the pandemic, and even when our costs for every single software we use, for every raw material we use, for every test we do in our labs, for everything you could possibly imagine went up, we never raised our prices. So we are making up for that now. And we do apologize for any little shock that might provide to you. But this is the first heads up everyone's going to get, is this officially is going to be happening by the end of next week. So if you have any intentions of buying, do it now. Do it this weekend. Call us today and place your orders. Do it Monday, Tuesday, because the next time you order, if you waited like about a week longer, the new prices will be in effect. Having said that, we do have regular promotions planned for ongoing discounts to help you to mitigate the impact, as well as many of you have accrued thousands of points in our rewards program. And so you have a whole lot of 15% offs that you're going to be able to get for a while. So between our rewards program and the ongoing discounts that we're going to provide, this will hopefully offset that for you. Certainly, if you have any additional concerns, just call and ask to talk to me or Aston, and we will hear you out and we'll do whatever we can for you. But in the meantime, to make this process simpler for our wholesalers, for our partners, for our employees. We thought we were going to break up the increase over this whole year, like maybe 4 separate increases to keep it small increments, but we just realized that's sort of going to kind of like hit you with it 4 separate times, and it's going to be 4 waves of just people realizing it for the first time, and we think it'll just be way like a good thing will turn into a bad thing. So we just decided to do it all at once, continue to give you discounts, let you use your rewards, and it will hopefully not be too big of an impact. Now, having said that, we did give the upgraded formulas that 20% off starting last August. So the upgraded anti-inflammatory, the upgraded circulatory, the God Formula 2 ounces, the milk thistle, LNU 25, these have been 20% off since last August because we thought we were going to raise the prices in August. And we never got to it because we're too busy taking care of all of you. We never got to raise our prices because truthfully, believe it or not, there's no one else above me and Aston. It's just me and Aston and the team that you talk to every single day. That is NuSpecies. So we didn't get to it. So you've been getting 20% off these super powerful formulas for months before we even got to increase the prices. And we will continue to give those discounts so that way the products that do have the increase, because it's not all of them, will be offset by the discounts you're getting on the upgraded formulas, which many of you are taking. But if you want to avoid the increase at all for right now, place your order before the end of next week so that you can get your products purchased at the current price.
And we will extend a little longer, tiny bit longer. We'll extend the half price and the new Genesis to also help to alleviate I think it's a small, tiny raise. Some of you probably thinking we're going to raise the price $50 or $30 or $20, nothing like that. It's a small raise that we're going to make, but we will keep the new Genesis half price for a little while longer. So I invite all of you to stack upon all the formulas that you need, stack upon it. Don't buy 1 or 2, buy a bunch if you can.
Yeah. And then you won't have to worry about the increase for a while. So do that this week. And then we'll keep you informed. But again, if you have any concerns, just call and talk to us. And if there's anything we can do, we will try to help you out. Okay.
All right. And I'm here in Bronxville. Come into Bronxville and talk to me about it. Or call me. You all have my phone number and talk to me about it, and we'll find a way to work it out. We're going to work it out one way or the other with you. You know, NuSpecies. We are going to work it out with you. So don't take it bad. It's all good. We're going to keep those doors open to help you and your family, and that's what we're all about, as you know. And so help us to do that.
Absolutely. And Grace, I see your question there. We are out of time. We're 15 minutes over already. So please come back next week with that question, and I'll take a screenshot as well, just to remember it. But we won't just start answering it on a Q&A that we don't know you're live on. So come back next week and ask it again, or just you can call and get a regular consultation with Aston if you want it or not. Verona says we're going to work it out one way or the other. That is true. We will work it out. So even if you're frustrated, you're mad at us, just remember you're mad because you love NuSpecies and you want to continue to access it. And if we don't increase our prices, then we can't continue to provide most of our products because the testing alone is thousands of dollars because we have to test our products with a third-party lab every single batch that we make. And we make our products in small batches so that they're not sitting on shelves for years. And we have to pay those costs, and those costs went up significantly. So not to mention the individual raw ingredients and all of our rents and every single software we use and everything. It's just been a lot, and we've bore the brunt of that for quite some time. So we have to do this, and we will, all of you, if you have any concerns, just reach out to me and ask them and talk to us about it. Don't go on a rebellion or from us. Stick around and just let us know what's going on. Grace wants to know when will Genesis have a label. Woohoo! Very, very soon. Mary's actually got it almost completely designed, and probably, I would say, no more than a month, you'll see New Genesis with like a real label. It will still be proprietary and no ingredients, but it will have a real label. Okay, we're now officially going to go. But thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend. If you're in New York, there is some snow coming on Sunday into Monday, so be careful, be safe, stay inside if you can. And we look forward to talking to you all this coming week.
All right. Bye-bye.